welcome to today's video. My name is Teresa and I will be sharing with you how to create this beautiful Magnolia greeting card. Actually, the name of it is Pear Pizzazz, Good Morning Magnolia. It'll all make sense later on. If this is your first time popping by our channel, we would love for you to go ahead and subscribe. And while you're at it, why don't you click on that bell right next to it? That way you'll be notified when we post a new video. You also want to stick around till the end because then you'll get the sneak peek at our next project. So in the meantime, go ahead and grab yourself a glass of tea or soda, whatever, and let's get stamping. The first thing you'll need is a piece of basic black cardstock. It should measure 5.5 by 8.5. Then you need, and it'll make sense as we layer it up, then you need a piece of Whisper White. It should measure 4 inches by 5.25 inches. Then you need a piece of Pear Pizzazz, thus the name. It'll measure 3 3/4 by 5 inches. See how we're starting to build our layers? Then you want another piece of your Whisper White paper. It should measure 3.5 by 4 3/4. Now you're going to need some scrap paper. You need a scrap piece of that Pear Pizzazz. Ultimately, it's going to measure 3.5. So you want to cut it a little bit big. So 3.5, and I think this is 2.5 for rough estimates. Then you're going to need another piece of that Whisper White to stamp that gorgeous magnolia. So go ahead and pull out a piece that's about 5 inches by 5 inches. Some of the other supplies that we're going to use, but you're not going to have to use. If you have colored pencils to color in the magnolia, that's fine. If you want to follow along exactly what I did here, then you're going to need some of our stamping blends. They come in a combo. The first one is our Granny Apple, light and dark, so you want to pull those out. You want to pull out your soft suede, the light and the dark. It comes again in a combo, so you get 2 of them. And we also need our Daffodil Delight. Believe it or not, there's just a little touch of daffodil in there. The next thing, you may not see it, but I'll hold it up closer later. We're going to want a wink of Stella. It adds not glitter, but shimmer, and it's just beautiful. We're also going to need some dimensionals. I've already used quite a bit of those. You're going to want to pull out your Good Morning Magnolia stamp set. I purchased this in the last catalog when it was a bundle and I kind of put it all together. But from that, you're going to want to pull out your big die for the magnolia. You want to pull out your magnolia leaf. Go ahead and pull out that little tiny leaf. Grab your sentiment. We're using Hello for this one. And this die right here. And other than that, you're just going to want to have your Memento Ink on hand and your glue stick or your table runner. So let's go ahead and clear all this off and let's get started. Okay, the first thing we're going to start with is that sheet of black paper. And again, you should have cut it to measure 5.5 by 8.5. If you have our scoring machine, go ahead and score it at 4 1/4. And if you don't have a scoring machine, let me show you how easy it is to do. You want to just line that up, get your edges lined up. What I like to do is press down on both sides, run your finger down the center, and then push out and push down. And then really apply some pressure on that fold line. But if you have the scoring machine, it just does that initial score for you, and a lot of people find that so much easier. I like to have my inspiration right next to me because I want to do the things that I can do ahead of time. So the first thing I can safely do is go ahead and apply that 4 by 5 1/4 piece of white Whisper White cardstock down to that. Now you can use, well, what I'm going to use, you can use the tape runner or the fuse tape. I'm going to use the Tombow liquid glue. Let me hold it on this black sheet of paper. And what you want to do is when you're running your ink along the edges, don't go too close to the edge. Because what happens is if your line, not ink, your line of glue, if your line of glue is too thick, you risk it seeping out when you're applying pressure. And then I like to put a little like that. And I'm going to eyeball this to try to center it on that paper. The other thing about the glue that I like, it gives you just a little bit of wiggle room. In other words, you can slide it into place and apply a little bit of pressure and we are good to go. Now that's all I want to do for now. I don't want to do anything else. Now I want to pull out that 5x5 piece or smaller, I think will even fit, of the Whisper White cardstock. I'm grabbing my beautiful, this is, I think I may have called it a leaf when I was pulling it out of the case, but it's not a leaf, it's more than a leaf. It is that beautiful magnolia flower. And I'm just going to put one of the big, really big acrylic block on top. And you are going to want to just ink this up, so go ahead and grab your Memento Ink and give it, generously apply that ink to it. Oh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? And even though this comes off on the end, it's okay. I still want to stamp to where I see the whole thing. And just apply a little bit of pressure. Now, the beauty of your Memento ink is that it won't interact with the stamping blends. There'll be no bleed through. Perfect. Oh, make sure you make sure you clean your stamps at the end. Now, our blends, they are alcohol based, and if you have not used a blend, believe me, invest in some. They are magnificent. Just from the way they work to the color that you get and the blendability, thus the name. Now, the stamping blends have a thick paintbrush side and then more like a marker tip on the other end. It's thinner. I'm going to start with the thicker, and it feels like a paintbrush. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to stay inside the lines, go up to the line, but you don't really want to be drawing on that outside line. Look at the way that color just lays down on this. Ugh. It is gorgeous. Now I'm just going to work all of the green leaves. Right, so we're done with the light granny apple green. Now I'm going to bring in the dark granny apple green. And I'm not even going to think about creating the shading. Their stamps provide it. Do you see how the artists have already put in the shading? Just copy right along it. That's all you need to do. And this ink will just blend ever so beautifully. Anyhow, now I want to bring in the soft suede. I'm pulling in the light soft suede, and again with the thicker side, I'm just going to lay that down for the stem. I wish I lived in the South so I could see all these beautiful trees in person. Now I'm pulling the dark soft suede, and I'm going to more of the thinner side for the magic marker. And again, where they have already put in the shading effects, those lines and stuff, I'm just going to follow what they did. For this magnolia here, I didn't color in the blossoms. We'll do that another time. But what I did do is I did take my dark Daffodil Delight, and I just layered some color down there in the center, and I kind of felt that popped a little too much, so then I took my light soft suede and I pounced some color over top. Now, if you like it where the yellow is a little brighter, please do that. All right, and the next thing I need to do is I need to take this over to my die cut machine. I am still using their Big Shot machine. They have come out with a new one, and I'll put that information for their new machines in the descriptions below. But here's a trick I saw someone else do. You can actually, so that it doesn't move when you're going through, you can pull in some Post-it notes, pop it right down on top. I know you're a little freaked out. I was the first time, but believe you me, I have tried it, so I know it works. So since I have to go to the Big Shot, I'm going to take that, and I'm also going to pull back out this piece, this scrap piece of the Pear Pizzazz. Now I want it to, the way I'm going to place the die, and you'll see in a second, is on this 3.5. So let's go ahead and pull out the die. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to try to set it up to where it's going to cut. Okay, that's going to be fine. You know what? I can do it here. I'm trying to eyeball the center of this to the center of my paper. If you are a person who needs it to be more exact, please do it. If you eyeball things like I do, welcome to the team. Drives my husband nuts because I eyeball, you know, pictures and stuff like that, and hanging them on the wall, that is. Like, That's about right. Put the nail in there, let it go. All right, so I'm gonna take this over to the to my Big Shot machine, run these through, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back from the die cut machine, or the Big Shot machine. That's scrap from this. Let me show you. Peel off that Post-it. Look at that, isn't that pretty? It's almost like a curtain. Ooh, so pretty. See where that's gonna go? Put that off to the side, and then here we go, just so you can see for yourself. Look. Pull that back. Bada bing, bada boom. Isn't that pretty? Oh, it's my favorite part. All right, now, this, I didn't have a measurement. I kind of eyeballed it, I'm sorry to say, but that's gonna go on this. So now we have a little layering to do. So pardon me while I do this. The first thing I want to do is figure out how long I want that. So it seems as if I'm going to put a little mark here. And so we'll score that. Let me go ahead and make this cut. I got to go over to my scoring machine. Okay, so that's where I want this to set. See, right up there to the edge, right up to the edge. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that. Back with the Tombow. All right, now I want to put this at the very end. Again, the beauty of the glue is that you do have a second of wiggle room. So you can really match that up. I'm going to let that dry. So now what we want to do is center this piece onto your Pear Pizzazz that measured 3 3/4 by 5. Again, let's pull out our liquid glue. Now, while that sets up, I'm going to go ahead and take my Hello that we took out from the stamp set, and let's put some black ink on it. You wanted to use the Memento, and it doesn't matter where you do it, but I'm going to try to mimic this, so let's just pop it down right now, and that'll give it a second to dry. Boom, it worked. You'd be surprised. Sometimes I have too shaky of a hand and it doesn't work. So we're really close to the end. We're not going to apply it just yet because we're going to have some cutting to do. You probably already noticed that. So it might have to be a little different. I may have messed that up. That's good. So this will show you on the fly. This is going to be a little different, but we're going to go with it. I probably should have done it. Let's see here. I show you what to do and I showed you how to fix the mistakes. So it's all good. So if we place it right there, we're going to have to cut some stuff, but that's all right. I think it's fine. What I do is I'm going to make a little mark here because I want to cut to the outside of where it hits, and then this should all line up. Then I'm going to take my tool. All right, this one's closer, so let's just use this one. Your cutting machine, and you want to line up that, you want to line up where you made the mark, and if you line up 2 out of the 3, that should fall into place, and lickety split, take it off just like that. That's one I keep a little closer to the desk. It was a hand-me-down. All right, that scoring machine. Oh yes, 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 yes. So it's going to be a little different, and I think that's going to be fine. Before I assemble the flower, I'm going to go ahead and now we're going to put this card onto what we have already started. So let's pull out our liquid glue. Place that. Look at that. Now I want to put my flower on using dimensionals. So let's pop one up here, and in this flower, and in this flower, not flower, in this stem, leaf, in this leaf, leaf, leaf. This is going to be, let me turn this over because I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. So this is the straight edge. What I will do is I'm going to put a dimensional there, a dimensional here, and I know it's a lot, but I want to make sure that it goes through the mouth. Now along the sides of the dimensionals, you can just take these, so you don't have to waste anything. You see, I use every piece of my dimensional, and I'm going to eyeball that so I can get it right along the line there. And then let's just start taking off these little pieces. And then it's nice and sticky. Now, we want to go back. I want this to line up with the edge of my Pear Pizzazz. So, and it is nice and sticky. I'm going to tell you now. And let's just see. I think that's it. So it is a little bit different, but that's okay. I am happy with that. Ooh. I do need to show you the one thing that's a little different is with this one, I used these beautiful rhinestones, and I'm out of them because apparently I like them so much I can't stop using them. That is a problem. So excuse me while I get out my pearl basic jewels. Oh, that just fell. Sorry about that. So I have some pearl basic jewels here, and we're just going to place some of those. You know what, I find it's easier just if I use my hands. So let's put a little one up here. They come in graduated sizes, so maybe I should stick with the more medium ones. And let's put one up in this corner, and let's pop one down there. That might be too low. Let's keep it there. Oh, I think I want the bigger one here, and maybe a nice fat one down there. And is that good enough? I think that's good enough. Now the last thing I want to do is that, not the last thing, on the front, the wink of Stella. Let's see if I can capture it just right in this light. Oh, it's not capturing it. Oh, great time of day. You're not going to see it, but you have to believe me, it's there. So anyhow, this is our wink of Stella, and it's a little paintbrush, and you just brush on, and it will provide the prettiest shimmer that apparently is not visible, although maybe it is when I watch this on the replay. I don't see it on the camera right now, but it doesn't mean it won't be there. And I'm just putting it in the leaves, not being as careful as when I was coloring in the leaves, because I think, you know, this shimmer and stuff should be a little random. Now the last little surprise we have to do is when you open the card, there's a cute little leaf down there on the side. Isn't that cute? So we did pull that out. Go ahead and put it on one of our acrylic blocks. And this time, I want to say, I used Old Olive. Let me grab that. So I used Old Olive. Let's go ahead and ink this up. So now let's ink this up with the Old Olive. And again, I like it. It just looks like it's falling gently. So I like to pop one right there. And that's it. And that will do it. So again, when you are copying on ideas from somebody else, I don't like to say copy. When you are influenced by something that someone else did, sometimes you don't have the exact same materials. You might not have the rhinestones. You might have the pearls instead. You might not have these particular colors. Maybe you're going to go with the petal pink or even the Daffodil Delight papers. It's your choice. You make it yours. I just hope, really, really hope that this inspires you. I don't like to write, for the most part, on the inside of my cards, and the reason is simple. I don't want to limit the use of that card. The greeting hello says, it could be a hello, I'm thinking of you, hello, congratulations on your promotion, hello, so excited at the news of your pregnancy. Whatever the case may be, I think it's always best to kind of leave the inside blank. So if you enjoyed my video, I really hope that you do the following 3 things. Subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up right here on YouTube, and click on that bell icon so that you're notified when we put out our next new video. So I do hope to see you next time. Take care, and don't forget to come back.